I'm here now, and that's all that matters.
Why do you have a random The Man sign back there?
I got that from a pay-per-view that we went to. It's always been there. It's always been there. I changed how my desk is facing.
Yeah,
so you can.
I think usually it's behind your head, so I can't see it.
Yeah, because normally I had the desk like kind of catty corner before, so it kind of caught the whole angle. But now it's a little bit different. So, yep, that's why I have that, and it's kind of illuminated by the lights there too. So it's making it stand out.
It's the focal point, which now everyone who watches the TikTok is going to think that you think you're the man. And then Ric Flair's going to come for you.
Yeah. Put a sign out.
And if you meet up on an airplane, he's going to come on you.
Ew.
Yeah. Or if you meet him on a train, he's going to go down on you.
Oh man, I'm not gonna lie. I'd love to see the paparazzi picture of Jason fucking ankles to ears with Ric Flair on a train.
Yeah, I don't think that's something I can make
Oh my god. Train riding.
I mean, even if I was into guys, I don't think Ric Flair would be my type.
I don't know. He's got a lot of money.
Does he though? He's got like 15 ex-wives. I don't think he really has a lot of money.
You could be his next ex-wife. Get yourself some alimony.
He's got that Conrad money.
At this point, I don't think he has enough to go around. Yeah, he's probably getting loans from his son-in-law.
Oh, good news! Doesn't his son-in-law like have this whole like realtor loans thing that he constantly is advertising?
I can't believe Mike said that. I would like to see a vision of
Jason ankles to ears.
Ankles to ears.
You can't believe that Mike said that. You can't believe he said that.
No, I can't.
I think he's more so he can't believe that he didn't say it.
Oh, okay.
Ankles. Oh my god! I think we have to title the show before the show even started. Ankles to ears.
We are recording, so everybody in the world heard that. So hey, thank you everybody for joining us for this week's episode of the Gimmick Minute Wrestling Podcast. Hope you had a great week. We got Kevin, Michael, and myself, Jason, back at it again, talking about, well, at least some stuff that happened with WWE, AEW,
train booty munching,
and NXT.
Flying.
We are going to cover some stuff with NXT because we had some releases this week, so we'll talk a little bit about that. We'll also talk about the we talked a little bit about it before we started recording, but the whole storyline with the Bloodline and RK Bro and adding McIntyre and Roman Reigns to that match. I haven't watched Raw yet tonight. I know Kevin was talking a little bit about it, but we'll get to that. We'll also talk a few things going on in AEW, and then I have a contest at the end of the show for Michael and Kevin. Michael's going to defend his Gimmick Minute Live and Worldwide Championship. Kevin's going to get a chance to win it, but we're going to do it via TikTok. So I'll explain more of the details kind of more towards the end of the show. I'm really excited about this. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
If we have to do a TikTok dance, I swear to God.
It's not going to be a TikTok dance. We're going to do a recording on here on TikTok. It's going to be like a promo battle like we've done in the past, but it's going to have a bit of a twist to it. But we'll get to that here pretty soon.
Do we have to be nice to each other?
That would have been funny.
The promo battle, you have to put the other person over.
That's going to be my next one now. Thank you for that. All right. Anyway, so as aforementioned, you can follow us on our TikTok. Just search Gimmick Minute. And make sure that you hit the follow button so you can follow us when I post all the funny things that happen on the show. You can also check out full versions of the show on YouTube, also by searching Gimmick Minute. And you can always find information to all this stuff on our Twitter account, which is @LiveYourGimmick. That is the @ symbol followed by LIVYOURGIMMICK.
MOUSE.
There he is. All right, everybody. So without further ado, let's go ahead and kick off the show. So I guess we can kind of dive into it with the whole Smack. Huh? No, not that. That's we're gonna take that. We're gonna put that in like a safe, and we're gonna lock it up. And we're just gonna put that. We're gonna take the key to that safe, and we're just gonna throw that bitch in the ocean and just get rid of it.
Let's pick off the shoes and put the ankles up, and let's go.
Jason's like, I need to stretch first.
Yeah.
I'll tell you
a lot.
Yeah, especially after I took a shower after helping my daughter's softball team today, and I'm sore as fuck. So I think I did more work than they did. Anyway, what I was gonna try to say is let's we were talking about a little bit before you guys were talking about before I got on here. We'll talk about the whole Bloodline storyline. So kind of catch me up. What happened on Monday Night Raw that for just Friday Night SmackDown? If anybody missed it, basically the match that was they were having a contract signing for the tag team unification match. All went to hell. You had Roman come out, then all of a sudden Drew McIntyre came out. Now all of a sudden this is a 6-man tag, and the titles are not on the line. So let's make it make sense. Where did this change? What happened? And Kevin, fill me up. What happened on Raw?
So the gist of what happened on Raw was it opened with the Bloodline coming out, and basically Paul Heyman did a shtick. Roman took the mic. He said, North Carolina, acknowledge me. And then from out of nowhere, the Usos got hit with a double RKO out of nowhere. And then, so Roman just kind of stood in the corner. RK Bro just kind of stood there, and then McIntyre came out with his, big fucking sword. And they brawled. Usos attacked. Big schmaz. And basically, that's all that happened.
Okay.
That was it.
All right. So it seems
if something has happened since then, I don't know. I probably only watched until about like 9:30, and in that hour and a half, nothing else happened.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it just for me, I'm a little disappointed because I was looking forward to the unification match, and I'm looking forward to them unifying all the titles eventually because. That was kind of my idea to get rid of this whole brand extension thing. Now, I'm not saying they're not going to do that now, but so one of two things I think happen here. Either one, there's another injury somewhere in there, maybe one of the Usos, or maybe one of either I don't think it's Riddle or Orton because they seem to be pretty much firing all cylinders, or maybe they're trying to hide, or maybe they just needed more. Do you think maybe they just felt like they needed more for the WrestleMania Backlash card? Like maybe they had to have Roman on there.
I mean, that's what Mike said.
Roman on there, but I don't know why that would entail putting him in a match with the Usos unless he is injured from his match with Lesnar. Because at that point, just have a singles match with him and Drew.
Yeah, I mean, me personally, I was excited about the tag team unification, and it. I talked about how it should be the main. We talked about how it should really be the main event. Like, I think that is a main event quality match, and I understand, getting Roman on the show, but then again, like Roman's almost somewhat kind of that attraction, also to where like. I personally don't think he needs to wrestle every single pay-per-view. Maybe he could be on it in the corner or something, but I don't think they needed it. I think it was fine with just the buildup of the unification.
And I agree with you. I do not think that Roman needs to be on every show. I think having him as that attraction. Okay, but
I think he does
because but he doesn't have to wrestle on every show. Being there,
he needs to be there and have some sort of appearance, some sort of involvement in something, because you don't want to walk that line that they did with Brock Lesnar that made everybody hate Brock Lesnar because he was a part-time champion.
But that was part of the appeal of Brock Lesnar, though. That was part of what made him a heel, though. That was part of the hate why you hated Brock Lesnar and why you wanted to see somebody else beat him.
That is not a good heel angle. Let me hate him because you don't book him?
I don't know. I guess I never really saw a problem with that because that whole time it gave
the only time it ever worked was when they finally put Rollins against him, and that was his whole thing with the build-up is you never fucking show up, everyone hates you, so I'm going to beat you and be a full-time champion.
Yeah, but
that's the only time that ever really worked.
But without him being distant like that leading up to that whole storyline with Seth wouldn't have worked. That the whole thing with him not being there led to that moment. Like that was the whole point of it.
And all that buildup really backfired on him anyway because the fans within a month turned on Rollins as a face.
That's because Rollins that's more on the fact that Rollins isn't a good face though than
I agree.
Lesnar booking. That has nothing.
But
to
I'm
do
just
with...
saying that you booked it that way. In your mind here that you're saying they booked it that way for long term, so that way it could build to Rollins using that to get the crowd behind him, so he could beat Lesnar at WrestleMania and have this big moment. And it did nothing for them because then they had to find an alternative route because the fans didn't want Rollins then.
Yeah, it didn't work with Rollins. But who else? Let me ask you this: who could they have put in that situation in order to make the change? They didn't have anybody else at that point in
Finn
time.
fucking Balor, the guy who has this demon persona that they like, but then they fucking shit all over it every chance they get because he squandered his one opportunity to be Universal title because he got injured during the match.
Okay, Finn Balor is a good choice. I don't hate that, but at the same time though, the booking of Lesnar though had nothing to do with the fan reaction of Rollins. That was a whole.
Oh, I agree. I'm not saying
it's.
I'm just saying by the logic of saying that if they wouldn't have booked Lesnar like that, then Rollins wouldn't have had that storyline to use. Well, then you could have just used a different story. Is what I'm saying. It's not a good story to tell. To be like, we intentionally didn't book Brock Lesnar because we wanted to eventually have someone to use that to rally the fans.
But think about it this way. I don't think they were intentionally booking that story with Lesnar to get to that moment with necessarily Rollins. Rollins just happened to be the hot hand at the time. Rollins was the one coming off an injury. Rollins had that big program with Triple H where he went to NXT and called Triple H out. Like Rollins was on fire. So it ended up being Rollins because he was the hot hand. Now once he won it, and this is another poor booking thing. They didn't really have anybody to line up after Lesnar for Rollins, so they didn't do him too many favors. So they kind of fucked up the aftermath, but the whole build was perfect. You could have inserted anybody in that situation, and it would have worked because they had garnered so much hatred for Lesnar by not having him show up. So,
but it ultimately still comes down to that same problem with the long-term booking. If they don't have anything planned for after, then none of it matters because then you just squandered all of that like build up. You literally just got the cheap heat to get the face over for one night.
No, and I think they've realized that, and I feel like lately they're doing more to fix that because they did that a lot. Honestly, they would have one or two decent storylines, and they would get you to a point where you were really excited about it, but then they would just kind of flop on it after the fact. I mean, Kofi Mania, I think they did a good job with Kofi afterwards, putting some people against him, all up until that whole Brock debacle where he lost and never got a shot again.
He got squashed.
Yeah, but
went back. He got squashed so hard he ended up back at the mid card.
Outside of that, though, I mean, the whole thing with Dolph was good. They had some good moments with him in there, but. Yeah, I mean, I think lately they've done a little bit better job of trying to plan ahead. Now, they didn't do a very good job with Big E.
No.
But, I mean, you win some, you lose some, I guess. But, it's... I don't know. We got way off base here. I'm not even sure where we kind of started and left at.
Well, it's because we were talking about, like, Roman not needing to be on the pay-per-view. And I'm just saying you don't want to toe that line because despite the fact that he is a heel, the fans still want to see him. Where with Lesnar, it got to a point where a lot of fans didn't want to see him because there wasn't a matter of, I want to see him get beat. I just want him to be gone or show up. Like, pick one. Don't do the in between.
Yeah, I mean, Roman's a draw, right? I mean, he is the needle mover. And did you guys see the fake? I mean, it was totally fake. But there was a dude on Twitter, and I think it's somebody that I follow or people that I follow him, but. He put out sources told me that AEW has reached out to WWE to get Brock Lesnar on their show weekly or on occasion because they don't have enough top talent in AEW to get ratings. But then he even like put underneath that like don't retweet this thinking it's real or something like that. But it was kind of, I think he commented on it and said,
"Oh my god,
this isn't actually real." But it was just kind of funny because he made it look like a breaking news source, and so many people retweeted and commented on it, and most people didn't look at the comment that he made saying that it was fake. But yet it still started to make it, and everybody got so butthurt about it. Like, they don't have any stores. They don't have any.
And then fucking Tony Khan had to go be like, the bots are at it again. They're telling everybody that I don't have any top stars, even though I keep stealing all of the best people from NXT.
Right,
just saying.
Right. Oh man.
So I'm just gonna say it. It's Wednesday night NXT at this point.
Yeah, it really is. Honestly, I mean, you got the undisputed elite. I mean,
you got Keith Lee, Samoa Joe,
right?
I mean,
Tony Storm.
John Moxley was, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
developmental. Daniel Bryan was developmental. I mean, God, I mean, I'm just Ruby Soho, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't she?
Yeah, Ruby Soho. Yeah, it's I mean, hell, Kenny Omega even spent some time in NXT for a hot second, but let's see. And they're about to have a lot more too, because Dakota Kai is getting picked up.
Dakota Kai, never die, baby.
Tony
She's gonna end
Storm.
up there.
Yeah, Tony
Yeah,
Storm.
I already said that.
Oh, okay.
All right, so
Forget my girl.
speaking of NXT, we might as well cover it. There's been a few releases out of NXT this week, and apparently there's also a story going around that WWE is actually going to just start releasing people every 90 days. Like, apparently, I don't know if this is kind of an effort to keep things fresh, or maybe if things aren't working, they're just going to move on. But apparently, like, every 90 days, like, if what they're doing doesn't seem like it's moving the needle, or they're not getting the reaction that they want to get, instead of trying to change things, they're just going to just cut bait and move on. Because they have so many people now in developmental that if you're not cutting it, they're just going to move on and try somebody else, and maybe they'll double back and pick you back up later on and try you again. But it seems like it's like
insane to me.
Be like a revolving door of talent.
That would be like you're a manager of a store and you're like, my new people aren't picking it up too quick. I'm just gonna fire them and start over.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of is in a way.
Like, that is insane to me.
I mean, let's just look at this recent list, and
Dexter fucking Loomis, man.
Yeah, Dexter Loomis was one of them, which I don't know what about that wasn't working. Yeah, I mean, it kind of got maybe a little bit stale.
That's what somebody said. Somebody one of the pro wrestling sites, he said that it kind of like ran its course type thing.
Yeah.
So maybe that's they're thinking is like, well, this kind of runs its course. It's not really, doing much, so we're gonna release them. Although, but that kind of like stuns me, because I thought that was great. Like,
yeah,
I don't know, like it peaked at the whole wedding and everything. The wedding.
Oh my god, the wedding, Garganos and everything was amazing.
I mean, one of the best wrestling weddings ever.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
So that I don't know, that kind of.
Dude, the shit where he fucking locked Roderick Strong in a fucking trunk and gave him PTSD to the point where the Undisputed Era had to take him to therapy, like. So fucking good.
Great.
And
but
once you get through the list, I'll tell you what the things I've heard for the reasonings behind these.
I guess part of my thing though with Loomis though is how many people, like, he doesn't talk, and I feel like they kind of missed the boat with him talking at the wedding by not evolving the character a little bit more to where he does speak on occasion, or evolving more to where they the paintings and stuff like that, they kind of got away from that too. So I feel like there was a little bit more they could have done with the character, but I can kind of see where it did get a little bit stale. But I love Dexter Loomis, so I can't hate on it. So Dakota Kai was definitely a shock. She just recently won the NXT Women's Championship with Raquel Gonzalez again, but then they dropped it back pretty much immediately. Raquel got called up to the main roster, and now all of a sudden Dakota Kai is just gone. She had gone through like a really, I mean, think about pivotal moments when she had that heel turn at War Games. I mean, that's all anybody talked about. I mean, that was huge. But that was also 5 years ago.
But yeah, but still, yeah. But God, I remember watching that. I was like, holy shit! Like, I at that time, like, that was kind of, I knew some of the women, because I know what Shayna was. Shayna, she was on the other team, right?
I think
that
so,
War
yeah.
Games, yeah.
I believe
because
yeah.
Rhea Ripley was the captain of the team, that, right? Like, that was like one of those. But just like me as like kind of a casual watcher, like watching that, but like just like how the commentators were selling it. You know what I mean? Like, that was one of those. Yeah, granted, it was 5 years ago, but still, that was like pretty big moment.
That was a needle mover.
It really was. It really was. It did a great job, and it made Tegan Knox like an uber babyface, and it definitely made Dakota Kai a huge heel. Now, unfortunately, Tegan got hurt again and couldn't really do anything with it, but But Dakota had some really interesting moments. But again, her character kind of became this dark and brooding character that would just like wander around backstage, mumbling to herself, but then she just won the NXT Tag Team Championships. Then there was Malcolm Bivens. Now with Bivens, I heard and actually I heard this with a few of these people. I don't know about the last one that we're gonna go over. Well, we'll go over a couple more here in a second, but the one in particular I don't know. But Malcolm Bivens, apparently his contract was up and he refused to resign. So that even though his contract hadn't hit its end date yet, because he hadn't re-signed any of their previous attempts, it seemed like he just wanted to leave.
Well, the other thing too, like I don't know if you were on yet when Mike and I were talking off air, but I guess like they wanted him to be Omos's mouthpiece.
Oh,
on the main roster, and he turned it down.
Really?
Yeah, that's one thing. Yeah, so that's the one thing I heard. So that's why they put MVP with Omos.
Interesting, huh?
I don't know if that has something to do with it or what with his release.
So is bit like people are the IWC community is probably gonna fucking hang me for this, but is Bivens a wrestler? Like, is he a? Because I've never seen the dude in anything other than a suit and a tie. Now I know
I would assume he probably was like in the indies at some point, because that's usually what a lot of these like manager types in NXT. They're usually someone who started in the indies or like had some talent, but then where they really excelled was on the mic. So WWE was like, "We want you to be a manager. We want you to be a valet."
If Byron Saxton was a wrestler, then I'm sure.
No, yeah, that's true. I was gonna say because I know like Robert Stone, he was an indie wrestler that they turned into a manager, But yeah, I'd never seen anything with Bivens wrestle. I guess I'll have to look up what his indie name was and see, any matches. But he's a smaller guy, so.
When we get done with this or whatever, if you guys want to, real quick, maybe we each think of a couple people who we think would be released in 90 days. I've got a couple off the top of my head.
Okay. I mean, it seems like it's going to be NXT talent, not so much WWE, but we can, I'm cool with doing that. So before I get to the other big one, Raylan Divine, she didn't really have much TV time. Persia Parada was in that storyline with Dexter Lumis and Indy Hartwell and Duke Hudson. I mean, she was a featured person on TV. Now, grant you, her matches did not do very well, and I didn't think she did very well on the mic, so I guess I could kind of see where it was. Draco Anthony had some TV time recently. And then Sanjay George, and then Paige Prentzelov. I can't even say her last name, so sorry, Paige. But they were also released. But the one that really shocked me, just because of the buzz that he had coming in, was Harland, a.k.a. Parker Bordeaux. So is there anything that you guys heard about this one to why he might have been let go?
I haven't heard anything. The only speculation I heard from somebody was just because, like, if you notice, like, I guess he hasn't really been involved. Has he really been involved lately, like in the last few weeks with this whole thing?
Yeah, he was when Steiner was kidnapped. Like I don't know if you guys have been paying too much attention, but
I saw that. Yeah.
So for basically, Joe Gacy is trying to get Braun Breaker's attention. So the first thing he did to get his attention was kidnap his dad. And then he stole his dad's Hall of Fame. He stole his dad's Hall of Fame ring and pretended like he burned it. And then he basically in the next week led Breaker on a wild goose chase through the NXT arena and through like the backstage trying to find him, just like fucking with his head and like playing.
I saw last week when he had like 40 fucking druids.
Yeah.
Which was kind of like creepy because there were so fucking many of them, even though Breaker pretty much fucking destroyed them all.
Yeah. They surround 2 weeks ago when he pushed them off of the stage, all the druids like surrounded him. It was really weird. Like they like swallowed him. He disappeared, and you could just hear him screaming. So that was actually really weird. But yeah, I mean, just overall creepy stuff. But Harland was with him when it first started, but then the last 2 weeks he hadn't been there, and then all of a sudden he was just released. So I don't know if maybe he had some personal stuff going on and he needed to take some time away, but he took to social media pretty quickly after the release, though. Maybe he just wasn't happy with the direction, because this dude was like touted as being like the next Brock Lesnar. I mean, honestly, and the look he had, I mean, the dude looked like fucking bananas. I mean, he has tattoos head to toe. He had this like crazy blonde hair. He's jacked to the gills, and they put him in an overall thing that hid his whole body and shaved his head. And he didn't even get a chance to. And this guy seemed like a personality, like he had like a fun personality, and they basically made him a mute. So I don't know if maybe he just wasn't digging the direction of the character and just didn't have the patience to see it through. Maybe he got frustrated and wanted to leave, or so. I don't know. I haven't heard anything one way or the other with him, but yeah, I mean that one actually really shocked me. I actually was looking forward to him being a part of this NXT 2.0, and I was really shocked when they debuted him in that gimmick that they did. And I guess I'm not that shocked, even though Joe Gacy is the dude's about to fight for the NXT title, and he was literally just rubbing elbows with that guy, and now he's gone.
Yeah.
So it's just, it's just really weird.
The other one Mike and I were talking about, did you hear about Roderick Strong, I guess, has been asking for his release.
Which doesn't surprise me at all, man. Like, his wife is in AEW. All of his best friends are in AEW. Of course he's going to want his release and go be in AEW. I mean,
who's his wife?
His wife is Marina Shafir.
Oh.
Yeah.
Maybe she was wrestler, but I didn't know who she was.
Yeah, they've been married since before she was even NXT. They have a kid together.
Okay.
So like when they first debuted Roderick Strong in NXT and they were showing like his wife and kid and like trying to make him this big baby face and stuff like that, that was her. And then she started training. Her and Jessamine Duke were there because they're the MMA 4 horsewomen. But then they quietly released Marina and I didn't even know Marina Shafir had been released from WWE. But her and Jessa were kind of quietly released or quietly let go from the Performance Center. And I haven't seen Jessamine Duke appear anywhere, but Marina now is with AEW, and she was booked against the bad bitch herself. Wow, why am I blanking all of a sudden on her name? The TBS Women's Champion. Jade Cargill. Okay. My God, Jade Cargill. I just keep thinking baddies because she has this whole baddie stable now. Do you guys see that? She has a stable. So it's her, Kiera Hogan, who was formerly in Impact. I think she must be more in AEW now. And then Red Velvet. Red Velvet apparently heel turned somewhere and joined. First they had a baddie section, which was it's like a section that all these girls sat in that were just cheering for Jade Cargill. But then they had a tag match on Rampage. It was a trios women's tag match, and they were introduced as the baddies, and they had this whole entrance and everything. Like, it was Jade Cargill is very sports entertainment. That she's one homegrown talent that they have there that is very I'm all about Jade Cargill. She's doing a hell of a job. I can't say enough good things about her. But anyway, all right. So we're talking NXT releases. So yeah, I mean, it's just Roderick Strong. That doesn't surprise me because he has so much in AEW, and at this point in his career, I doubt he really cares about being a top guy or anything like that. He probably just wants to make some money, wrestle some good matches, and have fun with his friends. Like, he never really seemed to be the top guy material to me to begin with. I mean, his babyface run was very subpar. He was the fourth person in a stable that was just kind of, his turn was awesome, and it definitely was a well done. But outside of that,
but you know what? But he put on some fucking awesome fucking matches.
Oh yeah, great matches.
And especially like when they did some of those war games, like as heels and stuff. Like, I mean, he did some fucking badass shit. I mean, he took some fucking bump. Like, and that's what somebody said today too was like, did WWE really miss the boat on like Undisputed Era being on the main roster? And like,
100%.
I understand that Vince might not like stable so much, which I don't fully believe, but like, I don't know.
He better tell Edge that.
Yeah, Edge and Roman.
Yeah, he better tell Edge and Roman.
I tell you what, so tonight they had, real quick, just go back to Raw. They had Damian Priest versus AJ, and if AJ wins, Damian's banned from ringside for their match, and hell of a match. Like, I mean, obviously we know AJ's AJ, but like Damian, like paired with him, like it was fucking pretty good. It was only like maybe like an 8-10 minute match, but it was pretty damn good.
Yeah.
AJ got the win, but like Edge cut this promo before. Like, I love this. Like, just his look, you know what I mean? Like, to where I'm really excited about this stable because I guess they're called Judgment Day
Yeah.
is the name of their stable. But
Big fan of
like
the pay-per-view.
yeah, definitely. But like to where like Edge, you can see Edge is gonna slowly kind of more and more step away from being in the ring. Like he's gonna be such a good like corner piece, I think, for whoever else they bring in. So
And honestly, at this point, that's a good utilization of Edge. And the other thing too is you could put a world title on Edge in this role as well, and have him carry that, and have these guys be there to protect him as well. And he wouldn't have to wrestle every, kind of like we were talking about with Roman. He wouldn't have to wrestle every pay-per-view. He could just kind of be around.
yeah, but just even what he's doing for Damian Priest,
Oh
like,
yeah,
this
I mean
is
he's
so much
making,
better for Damian Priest.
yeah.
Like you know what I mean? Like Damian Priest doesn't really need to talk. He just comes out and is that presence.
He's giving back. He's doing what Gangrel did for him, basically, and just being that guy to bring over some younger talent and put him over and put him in a different spotlight and elevate their style.
Although there was something, so Edge attacked AJ after the match, and they were going to do the concerto to him, but Finn came out and did the save for AJ. Okay,
right.
So at the end of the match, they did the Too Sweet, which was cool. But have you guys heard the rumors of that Finn might be joining Edge's group?
I have, and I'm all
That'd
for
be dope.
that.
So I'm wondering if this was a kind of a seed planted that nobody really maybe is recognizing.
Yeah.
That maybe to where like, okay, Finn came out tonight and he's gonna somehow cost AJ and join the group, which would be sweet.
Yeah, I'm all for that. I'd be really excited if that actually happens, because I think I really became a big fan of heel Finn when he was in NXT, and I think he would have a great story to tell joining Edge's group. Be like, look, when I went back to NXT, I had the whole company by my balls, and then you got me back up here on the main roster, just smiling and acting like I like everything. And then he could even bring up the whole thing that happened with Roman with the rope getting cut and then nothing happening there's so much that there's so many good promos that he can cut to explain why he became a part of this group, that I think it'd be awesome for him to do that. But they gotta be careful though, because people like Finn and people like heel Finn.
Oh, yeah.
So you put heel Finn in that group, you already have Edge, who people are like, yeah, I mean, people respect Edge enough to like him as well. So you gotta be real careful the line that you toe there, because they could very easily become that kind of like NWO like cool heel group.
But I will say though, like the promo Edge cut, like before the match or whatever, like he had the crowd like shitting on him. Like,
oh, that's good.
Boo,
Okay.
boo. Whether it was halfway piped in or not, I don't know. But he was pretty like sadistic, like Edge, just with his talking. So I think honestly, like Finn would be great. I think Rhea would be great.
Yeah.
Kind of give you that badass woman in the group, because like I think Rhea could be one of those people that could like beat up men.
Yeah.
And I like to see fucking, like, I know Ciampa's doing a thing like with Ali. He's he attacked him last week. He actually attacked him tonight. But like I wouldn't mind. I mean, that'd be a great rub for Ciampa.
Ciampa being heel on the main roster to me is gold. I'm really looking forward to that. I think he can flourish, and I like.
And I think that's because I heard somewhere that Vince looked at the roster and was just like, "There's so many people who are not in the right roles, like people who are faces who should be heels, and vice versa." Yeah. And that's why there's so many people just like out of nowhere are like switching sides.
Yeah, which is good, and that's good that he recognized that and sees that where people's strengths are. I mean, Vince is a true heel. He recognizes a true heel when he sees it. He knows the guys that are dicks.
Yeah, I think. No, but I think. I think if you, that's where I would go with. Like, if you're not gonna, if you're gonna not do one person, maybe it's Finn, like you said, just because the whole like cool factor.
Yeah.
But you know what Ciampa can bring.
We know Ciampa can get heat. Ciampa can get heat. I mean, it wasn't that long ago where he was coming out to no music and a sea of "fuck you, Ciampa" on his way to the ring. So that man can get some heat.
It was like I think it was "fuck you, clap, clap, fuck you, clap, clap."
That was. And, and he's somebody too, and I'm just kind of going back to when Edge and Christian had their podcast, And Edge would always get asked, who would you want to work with, if you ever did come back to the ring? And Damian Priest and Tommaso Ciampa were always guys that he brought. He were always names he brought up every single time he was asked that question. Those two guys, he might have had a few other people mixed in here and there, but those two guys were always names that he brought up. Pete Dunne was another one too, but obviously, we got Butch. Butch is, people shit on the name Butch, but Butch is getting himself over. And Butch is also getting chants at live events and shit like that where people are chanting Butch, 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 Butch. And the whole Where's Butch thing is actually becoming an entertaining part of SmackDown. So everybody shit on the name change and everybody shit on the character change, but fucking look at Pete over there getting it done and making people care about it. So I got nothing but love for it.
And I hope it leads to something where he's like out like in the spotlight on his own type thing. Like,
I think it will,
even
yeah.
if it breaks away from him. So
no, I agree with you, and I think that it will as well. But things take time, though. You can't you got to give it time to evolve and time to change and time to see where it goes. People don't stay in the same character for their entire lives, and the people that do are the ones who end up getting released in 90 days, right? So
yeah.
All right, but anyway, enough about NXT WWE. Let's talk a little bit of AEW. I felt shitty when we stopped recording last week because I totally forgot to bring up something that I was really looking forward to, and that was the match that opened up Dynamite between Dax Hardwood and Cash Wheeler in the Owen Hart tournament.
Oh, yeah.
I was really excited to talk about that match because I was pumped that they were doing it. I would have... If this were me, okay, and this, correct me if I'm wrong, they haven't really announced any type of prize other than like a trophy for this thing, right?
That's my knowledge.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all I know.
Why wouldn't you book them on opposite ends of the tournament and then have them face each other for the win though?
I'm gonna assume there's probably someone that they're really wanting to put over in this tournament, is my guess.
Yeah, I guess you're probably right, but it just seems like that would have been a good feel-good story. But I guess they're heels, so why does it matter? But yeah, dude, that match that they put on was a classic, and if you watch, they took from a lot of classic matches and put spots in there.
Oh yeah, they took from Brett and Owen.
Took from Brett
and Razor.
Yep.
A lot of
Brett and Perfect, Brett and Razor, I mean, they did steal a lot, and CM Punk's been stealing a lot of Bret Hart stuff too.
Yeah.
I think that's Troll Punk being Troll Punk because Brett was supposed to be the manager of FTR, but then WWE scooped him up for a Legends contract.
Well, no, this is even going back to his matches with MJF. There's actually been people on Twitter that have done side-by-side videos of a Bret Hart match and a CM Punk match and highlighting the spots that he picks out here and there. And there were some spots that he had with Dustin the other, was it 2 weeks ago that were from that as well. But damn, so you had Punk on commentary for the match, which I thought was great too, them doing that. And just the match overall was amazing. What'd you guys think?
I loved it. I especially loved, like, you could tell that, they were debating if they wanted to do some of like their normal like dirty heel tactics to each other that they're so used to. Like, well, should I do this? Should I take advantage of the fact that you've got like a bum knee? Like,
yeah,
it just, I mean, I love that they came out at the same time. But they still came out at opposite ends. You know what I mean?
They came out together and they left together. It was great.
Yeah, I mean, you really just like, not to sound like sappy, but you could like just tell like the love they have for each other. It just like makes them probably the best tag team like that's around. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like just their camaraderie and chemistry. Like I bet if there was one thing that was probably in their contract, it'd be like, we can never turn on each other. We're never gonna, you know what I mean?
Yeah, never break up.
And no, there's just no way you could ever.
Well, yeah. Dax actually said that. He said there will never be a FTR divide. He said we'll retire and just walk away before we ever break up. He said that will never be a storyline that we do. We are going to be a tag team for our entire careers, and we're perfectly happy with just being the best tag team to ever step foot in the ring.
Now, I could definitely see something to like where one of them wins like the TNT title or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and maybe have a tag title and that, or just if they have no titles, like if you look at like Arn and Tully, like they before they were tag champs, like they were both like singles champs. I know they weren't really tag teaming much at the time, but like they both showed like not only were they they were great singles wrestlers and great secondary title holders, but like they were just, and then also an awesome like tag team championship team. So like I think I would like to see that as like a next step for like one of them. Maybe put like a TNT title on them.
My guess is it would probably be Dax, because Cash honestly does not like singles wrestling. So I actually listened to Renee Young has Renee Paquette has her podcast, The Sessions, and she did a feature episode.
Oral Sessions, get it right.
No, she changed the name just to The Sessions.
She did?
She
Oh,
dropped
boo.
Oral. She said she was tired of explaining it in like meeting settings and stuff like that for like sponsorships and stuff like that. So she's
like I promise it's not about fucking giving head.
She's like, we're just gonna go ahead and go with just The Sessions. But anyway, so she had one episode that featured just Dax. She had one that featured just Cash, and then they had an episode where they featured together. And you really kind of got an idea of who these guys were and like what makes them tick, and just the overall thought process that goes in their head. Like Dax actually suffers from like really severe anxiety when it comes to putting together matches. Like he tries to make everything perfect, which makes sense, because when you watch these guys' matches, just the way they put them together is just on another level compared to other people. And and he also has dealt with a lot of other issues and stuff like that, and Cash has kind of had his own thing too. I mean, there was that time in the ring he almost died when his arm got caught on that tag rope and it like ripped out, you know what I mean? So they both have said that they only want to be a tag team. They don't have any plans on ever not being that. Now, that being said, did we talk last week about the rumors of them WWE wanting them back?
I don't think we did, because I feel like that probably would have caused you to actually talk about the match.
Oh yeah, probably. So there's a rumor that was going around. WWE was interested in re-signing FTR, and it made its way around, and even they kind of commented on it, like, yeah, that's cool. I mean, maybe down the road that might be something we consider, but right now we're happy doing what we're doing. We're happy having all these dream matches we're trying to have. But then, literally, after their match on Dynamite, then all of a sudden it was WWE is not actually interested in FTR. Like, it's just fucking dirt sheet headlines for the sake of being dirt sheet headlines. It's so fucking
Well, did you
annoying.
hear what it changed to? Apparently, according to the dirt sheets, that it wasn't that WWE was interested in them. They were reaching out and interested in going back to WWE, and WWE doesn't want anything to do with them because they look at them as difficult to work with.
I call bullshit on that, because just hearing them in the interview talk about how they were talking, they didn't seem like they had any interest in reaching back out to WWE anytime soon. So I don't know. I call bullshit on it. I think somebody just made up a headline and then they walked back on it and that was it. Honestly, because he even said like, oh yeah, I didn't even know that, because she brought it up to them and he's like, yeah, I didn't even know that. That's crazy.
Maybe at one time where like, remember like, maybe I don't know how long ago it was, but like we maybe felt like they weren't being featured like they should have been. But now they're like, it seems like they're such a focal point.
Yeah,
I mean,
AAA tag team champions or the ROH tag team champions. And
yeah,
they've had so many matches now.
Yeah, so I don't like, maybe at one time, like I said, like maybe a year and a half ago or so, maybe there was a consideration. But then I also saw somebody was like, when they were talking about that, somebody also posted the picture of, remember the mock get-ups that WWE had for them?
You ever see that? The fucking big clock and shit.
Yeah, and like the genie outfits or something like that. So like, nah, I don't think so.
Yeah, I'm good. No interest in doing that again. Fuck that. But yeah, so that match was honestly, man, it was well worth the watch. If anybody hasn't had a chance, go watch AEW Dynamite just to watch that match between those guys. Then we had another fucking ladder match between Sammy Guevara and Scorpio Sky. There was rumors that Sammy was injured in this match But apparently this weekend he had he and Ty Conti won the mixed tag team championship. So obviously he's not too injured if he's participating in that.
I guess he did get a little hurt, but he said that after
Well,
the match, like his back and neck was like sore, but like
dude did a fucking somersault and landed like on his neck and shoulders on the ring off the ladder. Like he just
but he said like next day he was fine. So
it was like a ball that you pull a string and it just like tumbles around. He just like tumbled. He just went off the ladder and just tumbled straight down onto his neck like a fucking idiot. I thought that was a cool spot though when Scorpio Sky reversing the cutter on him.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Did you see that, Kev?
I didn't see that part of the match. I only saw bits and pieces.
Yeah, so you know that when we were there, when he hit that cutter on Cody, he jumped for the same spot, same exact setup, except Scorpio caught him coming at him with the cutter instead of getting caught with it.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so that was cool. It was a good spot. But yeah, I mean, he just needs to like take a minute and chill, or he's gonna end up in a wheelchair here pretty soon. Like I say that half kidding.
Jeff can still dance down to the ring while his brother gets beat up. He'll be fine.
Dude, I've never seen Jeff but Jeff has done some crazy shit. But some of the stuff that Sammy's done, like when he obliterated that table, and then like that spot that he just had in the like Jeff has taken calculated risks. And Jeff also makes sure that he's safe. Sammy just doesn't give a fuck. Like, he's just throwing his body out there. So, I mean, I feel like they got to rein him in just a tad bit. They had another... Dude, how about fucking Wardlow just destroying Lance Archer? That was kind of cool.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see. Then we got
I don't know. Was it on Dynamite or was it on Rampage? Did you guys see the thing with Danhausen and Hook?
Yeah.
It was so funny.
Yeah. That was
those two.
That was supposed to be
Hook kind of teased like a little bit of a. It was almost like a baby face ish, but like still being Hook. You know what I mean? Which I can dig. So.
Yeah, Hook. Excuse me. Who's a sleepy host now?
Yeah.
But I mean, Hook.
Sleepy hoe.
Hook. I mean, Hook was like he definitely could just be himself, and I don't think it matters. You know what I mean? Like people might boo him, people might cheer him, but I think he's just gonna be one of those guys that's always kind of himself. You know, like when you look at Steve Austin, the difference between him being a heel and him being a face was just the crowd reaction. He acted the same no matter what.
I think ceremoniously, I think like Hook kind of is a face. Like I think people love him, but he is who he is, and I think that's what's good about the whole character.
Yeah. So, and then the Philadelphia street fight with Sheeta and Serena Deeb was pretty cool. Blackpool Combat Club had another match. I'm trying to think.
Did you guys see Serena Deeb's eye afterwards?
Yeah, she got fucked up, man.
Her
eye looked like
Bianca.
Her eye looked almost as bad as Bianca's after WrestleMania.
Yeah,
it was pretty good. I mean, I think I saw in the match when that happened because I saw the picture before I saw the match because I watched Dynamite I think a day or two late. So I saw the picture and then I watched the match, and when I was watching the match I was kind of looking for the spot that it happened. I think I saw where it happened because she just got caught with something real quick. Yeah, her eye was pretty fucked up, but she was like, I can still see out of the other one, so I'm gonna keep going.
All you need is one.
I'll tell you what though, Sheeta was looking good in her outfit that she was wearing. A little different look for Sheeta. She was wearing like some jean shorts and stuff like that.
Sheeta.
Oh, Sheeta now.
Jesus. Oh God.
Looking good.
Speaking of putting some ankles up.
God, Jesus fucking Christ.
All right, so we're coming up on to the 50-minute mark, so we're almost to an hour. I got this contest I want to roll out to you. Is there anything else we want to talk? Go ahead, Kev.
Real quick, one or two people you think in 90 days they'll be released?
Oh yeah.
I know you're thinking NXT, but I'm
Worst part is I had literally thought about it like an hour ago when you brought this up, and now I forgot who I was going to choose.
like honestly,
Uh,
like one person I'm thinking could be is somebody like Robert Roode.
Okay.
I just, you know what I mean? Like, if you're talking about people like they don't really use, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, he hasn't been featured lately. I mean, he had that whole run with Dolph, where I'm actually pulling up their roster page right now. I'm just trying to take a look.
I've got my two. So first, I think LA Knight.
Nope, I don't see that, but okay.
Well, I know why I see that because multiple of the current releases were people who were either being considered for the main roster or were already being tested on main event before like Raw or before SmackDown got released. And guess who else has been tested on main event? LA Knight, under a different name too. The other person I had was Cameron Grimes, just because they like to ruin good things.
Yeah, I mean, Cameron Grimes is the current North American champion, though, so that would be
They literally had people in main fucking storylines on their show that
No,
they
you're
fired
right,
on the
you're
fly,
right.
so they don't give a shit about
Well,
any of that.
yeah, no, you're right.
But do you see somebody like Shinsuke?
Dude, LA Knight is still on their roster as LA Knight. They haven't changed his name.
They know he's testing under a different name on
Well, they had him.
main event.
I know they had him in a different gimmick. They have him managing Mace. Like
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But he's not going by LA
Knight.
Knight when he's managing Mace
What was he
on main event. I can't remember what the name was, but it wasn't LA Knight. They had him like have like a normal name.
New York Day.
Miami Evening.
Miami Evening. All right. I mean, I don't know. I could kind of see Ridge Holland being released at some point.
What about like Shinsuke?
Yeah, Shinsuke is somebody that potentially could be. I mean, literally, they didn't do anything with that whole thing where he came out and hugged Roman and got or Roman hugged him.
Yeah, he got kicked and he hasn't been on since.
Yeah, I mean, he showed up for the lumberjack match last week. I don't know. I'm just pulling up the NXT roster right now. There's a few people that. How about how about Kate? Fuck, I don't even remember her name now, but they changed it to Alba Fry. It was Kaylee Ray. They changed her to Alba Fry.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I could see Andre Chase being one that gets released because I don't think the Chase U thing is really working. Boa is somebody I'm kind of surprised is still there, if I'm being honest. I don't know. I think they see some stuff in Duke Hudson, so I don't think they would let him go. Grayson Waller, I think, is pretty safe.
I will say Mustafa Ali, he was a guest on Miz TV, and he did have a line to Miz saying, the only thing I'm surprised by is that you still have a job here.
That's good. I mean, I can see maybe them finally letting Roderick go. Man. Yeah, I mean, if I had to pick anybody, if it were two people and I was going on off of the NXT thing, I would say that it would be Boa and Andre Chase. Those would be my picks. All right. Did everybody give their two?
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, it just got real quiet all of a sudden. Nobody had anything
Sorry, I was trying to find like what his name on main event was. So I know I know his like gimmick is Night Model Management Agency. So he's basically what's his name? Who?
So why wouldn't his name be LA Knight then? That doesn't even fucking make sense. Why would they change his name but then still make the agency?
They don't do anything that makes sense. But I'm trying to figure out. It doesn't specify in here. Like it just says Eli Drake.
I don't think they changed his name. Because I've read articles about his appearances on there, and they've always referred to him as LA Knight. I have not seen anything about a name change with him at all. So maybe that was another bullshit dirt sheet thing.
I don't know. Then again, there wasn't at the time.
I literally just
heard this. There wasn't footage of it.
I literally just Googled LA Knight's new name, and everything just keeps coming up LA Knight. So
yeah, because it says footage of the former Eli Drake announcing Night Model Management Agency, and I'm like, okay.
But Eli Drake, Eli Drake was his name before he came to NXT.
Yeah, so I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. He did change Mace's name though. He apparently now
Good.
calls Mace Dio Madden.
That's his name.
Yeah, that's his real name.
That was Dino Madden. That's Dio Madden. Dio Madden was a commentator on Raw like 2 years ago. Brock Lesnar F5'd him through a table because he like stood up to him when he came over to threaten the announce table. And Dio's a big guy. And then he disappeared, and Kevin and I saw him at an NXT house show when we went before COVID. And then after that, he became Mace at some point. So yeah, that's who he was before Mace.
Well done.
All right. Well, they moved him back to Dio Madden. Good for them. Good for him. All right. Cool. All right. You guys ready for your challenge for next week?
Sure.
Okay. So we got to cut. I don't want you guys to get too long with this because I want to try and keep it within 2 minutes so I can post the whole thing on TikTok. I want to have people vote on who they think does the best job. So this is going to be a promo challenge. So if you remember a couple of weeks ago, I posted a video from a show called Letterkenny where they did puns with WWE names to open the show. So my challenge to you guys is going to be to write a promo against each other using wrestler names as puns to cut the promo. Now, you have the video that you can watch as inspiration, but I also wrote a little something to give you guys an idea of what I'm going to be looking for. You ready?
Oh, here we go.
All right. You two Bastion Boogers are going to need a large Dwayne The Rock Johnson to win this. Your shot better not ricochet, or else your opponent will Becky Lynch you and by the neck and headbang your head into the ground. Your puns better be full of Ric Flair, or else people voting won't give a rat's Mr. Ass. All right, hold on. I fucked this up. Let me start over again.
Yeah, it's been rough.
Oh man, we're fucked, Mike.
We are fucked.
No, this is my fault for not reading it and just looking at you guys. Like that was my fault. All right. So you two Bastion Boogers need a large Dwayne The Rock Johnson to win this. Your shot better not ricochet, or else your opponent will Becky Lynch you by the neck and headbanger you to the ground. Your puns better be full of Ric Flair, or else people voting won't give a rat's Mr. Ass about you. I'm not saying you need to be Mr. Perfect, but damn, don't look like a hairy bushwhacker, or you'll be the subject of a Randy Orton of ridicule. Best of luck to you two hardy boys. May your puns promos get a ton of dude love from the TikTok community. So that is around what I'm looking for you guys to cut a promo on each other.
It doesn't work
using
with the
those
Canadian
puns.
accent. Just saying.
I'm bad at a Canadian accent. I didn't even want to try, but if you guys want to throw in a Canadian accent, you might get a bonus point.
I'd have to work on mine real hard because it's been a while.
But yeah, so that's kind of what we're looking for. Letterkenny style, cut a pun promo using wrestler names on one another. What do you guys think? You think you can pull it off?
I think I can certainly try.
All right, so I'm only going to post the video on TikTok. I'll obviously we'll promote it on the other social media pages. So at Live Your Gimmick, we'll have a link to it and all that stuff, and I'll even put it on YouTube as well. But we're going to be looking for votes on TikTok. So if you have a TikTok account and you come across this video, please share it and make sure you write in the comment who your vote is, whether it's for Michael or Kevin, and that'll go up next week. So
if Jason and his entire family vote for Kevin, I am not losing my title. I am setting that stipulation right now. If there's a single Hummel, Himmel on that fucking comment thread,
okay,
they do not count as a vote in this challenge.
Well, what if they vote for you?
It still doesn't count. I don't care.
Because
it fair.
My daughter does have a TikTok. Both my daughters have a TikTok account, so they might vote. So
Jason
so my
likes to kayfabe it and have a bunch of fucking accounts all of a sudden vote for him on TikTok.
The only TikTok account that I have is the Gimmick Minute TikTok. So I'm not going to cast the vote. I'm just posting it up there.
I'm just debating, should I work on this during the week or should I just do it 20 minutes beforehand like I did my song for Jason?
I think you should work on it during the week only because it's kind of like I wrote the one that I did today. I'd been thinking about it for a while, but I wish I would have had time to practice it so I didn't stumble over it when I tried to read it the twice that I did. But
So the question for you, Kevin, is do you have a higher than remedial English ability when it comes to reading.
Well, then I think we'll be okay then.
Wow. Fuck both of you all the way off.
Hey, I was in remedial English too, Jason. It's okay. That's why I'm not going to have to read mine. I'm going to have to write it down and memorize it. Otherwise, I'll stumble through it like you did.
And that was my point, that I should have done that. But just for that, that's why I like plugs.
just like why during Modern Toy Fair I don't use the show sheet when I do the intro, because when I do, I stumble through it. But when I just fucking when I go through it like normal, I can fucking hit all of our ridiculously long titles.
All right, so definitely have a look out for that. I'm really excited to see what you guys come up with. I think it'll be fun. So yeah, that about does it. So
and I will say this, that if I do win the title back, that quite possibly we will have the debut of my own custom Gimmick Minute Championship.
Have you made a new one aside from the one that you had previously?
No.
Because to my knowledge, there's 3. There's the one Jason has on his wall, the one that I have sitting down here, and then you made the one that looks like the WWE title.
No, did I make?
You made one that literally looked like the current world title, like, but instead of the big W, it had the GM.
Oh no, I never made that.
I thought you did.
No, I started to, but then I changed it. So I might just make one for myself, so that way we don't have to keep fucking shipping them to each other.
I ain't shipping shit back to you at this point. Like, you can walk over to fucking Ankle Ears here and take his
Ankle Ears.
Hey, by the way, Michael, with Modern Toy Fair on your weekly purchases, did you hold up your PS5 that you ended up getting?
No, because that came after weekly purchases Wednesday, so it's gonna be on this week's weekly purchases.
Gotcha. Oh my god. I just got a great idea. If Jason ever wins the title back, I'll make him a new one, and the side plates are going to be a Ric Flair going down on that chick on the train.
I endorse this. I'm all for it. Normally, I'm against whatever nonsense that Kevin comes up with.
I'll tell you what, I'm good with the one that I already have, so we'll just go ahead and keep it. Oh, hey, speaking of which, how about Cody Rhodes was on After the Bell, Corey Graves' podcast, and was asked a question by Vic Joseph about, he mentioned, hey, when you won the IC title, you brought back the white-strapped old school IC title. If you were to win the big one, which one would you bring back? And Cody said, well, it took a lot to get that other one, but if for some reason I was able to do it again, he basically confirmed it would be the Winged Eagle.
Yeah, I heard that too.
But it was kind of funny, the conversation they have. He was like, the weirdly, they called it a weirdly named title because it's like, I've never known an eagle not to have these things.
Yeah. But I did you see on WWE Shop now they are selling replicas of the original Big Eagle that Austin first held, the blue one.
Oh, really? That's cool.
That had like the dark snakeskin back or whatever.
Yeah.
Which has led to speculation, but I think they're just selling it.
I think they're just selling it because Austin had a match, and he's a big deal again. Hey, I'll give you a weekly purchase real quick. Check it out. The New Age Outlaws are complete.
Nice.
I'm excited.
I'll give you a sneak peek at my weekly purchase.
Oh, you finally got them, huh?
Yeah, after like months of waiting for Ringside to get restocked, I got my Sting.
Your trench coat Sting.
Worst part is I almost bought a second one at GameStop the other day because I saw it, but he had some schmutz on his nose, so I was like, oh, never mind.
Yeah, I ended up getting the one without the trench coat. I still have my Mr. Brody Lee that I haven't opened yet, though, so I don't know if because he's got the cards behind him, so I'm debating on opening the cards and putting them in the sleeves because people will probably eat up those fucking cards.
Yeah,
the longer we go, we're pressing our luck with. I don't start cutting out again. So. Oh
God.
He's at the end anyway, so I don't think it matters.
Yeah, we're pretty much at the end of the show where Mike just plugs his toy stuff, and then we just call it a night anyway. So.
Speaking of toy stuff, go check out a soon to be monetized YouTube channel, youtube.com/Modern Toy Fair, where we are currently sitting at 1,200 subscribers. And we have new episodes every Friday of our podcast, including Toy Therapy occasionally, top 10 lists. We have reviews on Monday. We're going to have our weekly purchase show, Only Figs from Twitch, also put over on Wednesdays on YouTube. What the fuck are you doing?
Dude, I do this every time you talk. I just wait for you to notice.
Oh, it took me a long time. But yeah, so go check that out. Also, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Modern Toy Fair, and then twitch.tv/Modern Toy Fair. tpublic.com, look up Gimmick Minute or Modern Toy Fair to find shirts with our shit on it.
Yeah, for literally like the last 2 years, every time you plug your Modern Toy Fair show, I always duck behind my microphone and peek up over and over again just to see just to try and get a reaction from you.
Oh, I've never noticed.
Never noticed that either.
Long-term booking, it finally paid off. All right. Anyway, thank you guys for listening to this week's episode of the show.
Paid off like Seth Rollins versus Brock Lesnar.
Thank you guys for listening to this week's episode of the show. Hopefully you forgot it, or hopefully you enjoyed it. Nobody listens to this part anyway. But anyway, if you are still listening, hopefully you enjoyed it. And if we forgot something that we should have talked about, make sure you tweet us at Live Your Gimmick so we could catch it next week. For Michael and Kevin, I am Jason, reminding anybody who is listening out there to always be a fan and make sure to live your gimmick. All right, goodbye, everybody.
Face down, ankles up. That's the way we like to fuck.
It's face down, ass up.
I said
Not this time. He said ankles up.